All right. Well, let's get on to the part of the show that everybody's been waiting for.
Yes, sir.
Zen Master. Let's start with you because we've seen all the videos with you, so it'll give people a better perspective of, the kind of what you were bowling on.
Yeah.
BArnzy Zen Master. There we go. Just let me move it. So, oh my bad. There we go. So you started with a pin down one.
Yes. This is kind of a fit as well. This is to tighten up the flares, use that big cover, and stay a little bit more direct. There really wasn't enough oil on this pattern to where this would be ideal at the time, but it is what it is. It does do exactly what I'd hoped for. It is a big ball. It rolls quick, and this is a pin up one. This is my original sample one back when we did the test way back, I don't know, 3-4 months ago.
So just eyeballing it, that one looks like it's lane shined a little bit.
It's got enough games on it. It started to lane shine, and so in this case, it really helped me because it actually got through the lane a little bit. I threw it up against a phase 2.
This wasn't that clear, but what you were kind of showing us there was that the flares on the pin down one were really tight.
Yes, they were.
And that was like a 5.5-inch pin, I guess, just eyeballing that from
just a touch over 5 there, 5.25.
Okay.
And it tightened it up pretty good.
And then you were kind of showing the difference of how much more they.
Yeah, it didn't come out very well, but that ball was flaring 4 inches more total, probably.
Yeah.
And this, it made a pretty big difference. It was 4 to 5, I guess, just to see. No, it's more like 7 to 8 boards more.
So one of our Pro Shop friends, Jim Pratt's asking, what's your pin to pap? Basically, what's your axis point?
Yeah, 4.5 up 1.
Right. That was a nice shot there.
Yeah, I do like this ball. It's going to fit a purpose, especially that pin down one is that heavy control ball for me. And then, once we're able to use it, the other ball compares, it's going to kind of go up against the reality a little bit as a symmetrical version of that.
Right.
And so
that's a bit ambitious.
Yes, it was.
Oh, but you got the Tommy Jones, so you're okay. I'll just click this through again so we can just chat while they've got stuff going. But just in general, where would you see this off, say, an axiom?
That's probably a really good question because that's the closest thing that I've thrown to it. I feel like it's a little bit stronger in the mid lane than the axiom.
Okay. So, because I like see from watching you, I feel like it's a little bit more down the lane than the axiom.
Yeah, well, and then it's hard to say up against it, so I'd have to throw it on a little bit more. But the taller pin one, I would say, was more down lane. The axiom for me was strong, but it was pretty smooth down lane. I feel like this one comes around the corner a little bit more, even though I flat 10 right there.
Yeah.
I am 50, so it happens.
Well, you also are playing on a pattern that's like, and when we say that there's not enough oil on the pattern, what really it is there's not enough difference between the front part of the pattern and the back part of the pattern. Because for me and Chris, we can both throw it pretty hard, but it doesn't really help. So if there was actually less oil on the pattern, but there was less of it in the back 30 feet of the lane, this ball would look fine because we could just throw it a little harder. Problem is when they burn up a little bit in the front and then you hit the oil down the lane, then they become a little bit of a challenge. So did you have anything else symmetrical, like a phase 2 or anything with you?
I did have one with me.
And then what do you think the phase, your up phase 2 against this up one was like?
I actually had a new phase 2 because I sent my other one out to the PBA 50 tour, so I needed to throw one for the regular tour. And so I put that up against this, and it hooked 4 to 5 boards more than the phase 2 did.
Okay. So that's good to know.
Yeah, that was the pleasant surprise because on something with that it depleted the volume a little bit on the lane, I would expect it maybe to be either really close or kind of early and quit. It did keep continuing, which was the nice thing about it, and it hooked more than the phase 2, which lets it fit a spot in my bag. If it's right up against the phase 2, then it becomes how many balls do I need right around that same little window.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited about this. Now we get to see the big wheel.
Yeah, I'm born on the same house shot. I just like for me, I feel like for most people they get a better perspective of what it does on a house shot because most people are going to bowl on that. Um, I actually struggled with mine a little bit to start with. Because of the bowling center I was at, like they're just it was just too strong, like in the front part of the lane. So I actually took mine and I've touched it with like just a hair of polish, just to really just try and get it through the front part of the lane. And once I did that, it became a monster down the lane, in comparison to what I kind of expected it to be. I've got a couple of comparison shots in here, but it really continued well. It was kind of strange for as little polish as I touched it with. It made a huge difference. Here's my original Zen that I've actually hit with surface. It's the same layout, but you can see that one's probably like 2 or 3 feet longer, and it just comes a little harder down the lane. I did like that I could manipulate my hand a little bit to go a little straighter with it. I found that to be pretty useful. I had kind of similar characteristics to me to a phase two, in that, it was pretty versatile from a couple of different angles. I felt like I could change my speed and that would make it hook more or less. There's my shiny reality that I just drilled. How'd you like some of those apples, Barnes?
Uh-huh.
But yeah, like, so basically these shots were all, I didn't edit the order of these shots. So like you see, I'm playing somewhere around fifth arrow here. And then when I was going straight, I was somewhere around third arrow. So it was pretty easy to manipulate the reaction, I felt like, especially once I got that tiny little bit of polish onto it. Someone says, does the Zen Master roll similar to the original Rotogrip Idol? I guess to some extent, yes. I think it's stronger than the Idol. And so we'll see. I didn't have an Idol with me, so of course it's hard to say. But for me, I found that I had a similar issue with the Axiom, where that looked much better for me polished. But I use a lot of asymmetrical balls, so I don't really have that much use in my bag for strong, dull, symmetrical balls. Just I kind of use that. I kind of use asymmetricals in that gap.
Yeah.
If that kind of makes sense. If I want something stronger than my something significantly stronger than my phase two, I don't use a dull axiom very often. I just use a reality or a proton physics or X1 maybe.
Right. You like to use you use your speed and then let the asymmetry blend it out.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas I tend to try and tumble them, and then I want the symmetrical part so that it'll keep continuing a little bit more, blend it with my hand, and then and let the ball continue versus letting the ball burn out. It's been interesting actually over time. You think you know a lot of things, and it's one of the things that Stu's taught me about blending out wet dry with asym balls. When historically the perception is you use asym balls to create more back end, but it has been pretty useful for me to use those asym balls a little bit more often. And as Pete's been beating them up on the PBA 50 with those kind of balls every single week, I need to get better with it.